Hello guys, and welcome back to the video. Well, today we're going to be talking about 5 luxury alternatives to the Rolex Yachtmaster. Now, the Rolex Yachtmaster is kind of an underdog in the Rolex lineup. It's not nearly as popular as the Submariner or the GMT Master in the sports line of Rolex watches. But my first pick, as you see on the screen right now, is the Carl F. Bucherer Scuba Tech from the Petravi line. Now, Carl F. Bucherer is kind of an independently family-owned business, and it's been that way ever since it started. Now, this watch was released at Baselworld in 2014, so it's relatively new. It is in the Petravi line of watches, but Carl F. Bucherer kind of focuses on more formal watches, and this was something completely new for the company. I think they executed it pretty well. It definitely can compete with the Submariner, even though the Submariner and the Yachtmaster do have in-house movements. This watch right here is actually using the CFB Calibre 1950, which is essentially an ETA 2824 movement, which is modified a little bit. It's COSC certified, -4, +6 seconds a day. It's using the highest grade ETA movement you can get. Anyway, this watch has 500 meters of water resistance, actually does have a helium release valve, a unidirectional bezel, which is something to notice because on this bezel it is black and blue, but the ceramic on the bezel is actually black and blue. So the blue is actually ceramic as well as the black, something a little different. And it also has a dive extension, of course, micro adjustments on the clasp. It's a pretty big watch at about 44.6 mils, thickness about 13.5 millimeters. Sapphire is AR coated on both sides, so you get that nice little tint. And it's definitely a great pick, and definitely an alternative to the Yachtmaster. And one reason I picked this watch is because, for some reason, the unidirectional bezel on the Carl F kind of reminds me of the Yachtmaster, because the the numbers are kind of more spread out, and it kind of resembles the Yachtmaster in a way. But anyway, that's it for this pick. Let's get on to the next one. Now, coming in at number 2 is the GIRARD PERREGAUX Seahawk 2. Now, this is a diving style watch, and it's a diving watch. It is a professional diving watch, you can say, produced by GIRARD PERREGAUX. Now, the exact reference I'm showing here is the Seahawk 2, reference 49950-19632, FK6A. Now, GIRARD PERREGAUX, of course, uses an in-house manufactured movement in this piece, the GP033RO, beating at 28,800 vibrations per hour. This watch does have 1,000 meters of water resistance, something to smash away the Rolex, right? It has 46 hours of power reserve, which is pretty semi-decent. It is a bit larger at 44.8 millimeters, 15 millimeters thick, or 15.1 to be exact. Of course, the crown is screwed down. We have a rotating bezel, unidirectional, an automatic helium escape valve at the 2 o'clock position. We have that kind of weird date placement as you see right now. A little strange, but GIRARD PERREGAUX watches are usually a little different. It does have integrated crown guards and, of course, a signed crown. Now, these sell for about $9,700 for full retail. You can find them on the pre-owned market. I would say high 5s or mid 5s if you can find a good deal there. And it's definitely something way different, so that's something cool. Alright, let's move on to the next one. Alright, my third pick is the Cartier CALIBRE Diver. Now, this watch is kind of an addition to the CALIBRE line. The original one was not a diving watch, more of a dressy kind of watch. Didn't have the rotating bezel, did not have the same water resistance as this piece right here. But anyway, this is pretty much a diving watch. It's ISO rated, and it is using an in-house Cartier movement, the 1904 MC, the same movement as the CALIBRE Cartier, which is the non-diving watch version of this series here, produced by Cartier. Now, we do have a 120 click rotating bezel. The watch does come in a few different color variations. We do have your standard black, we do have a blue, we do have a two-tone model, and we do have a solid gold model. Now, the stainless steel on the rubber strap, which is very nice because you can actually move the rubber strap kind of in different up and down to get a perfect fit. which is a very nice thing. Now also, we have a DLC coated bezel. It is not ceramic, and we do have 300 meters of water resistance. Now this watch can be had for about, I believe it's $8,200, the cheapest version of this watch, and you can probably find them on the pre-owned market for, just guessing, I did not research how much they're selling right now on the pre-owned market. I'm guessing about $6,000, $6,200, somewhere around there. You can correct me if I'm wrong about that. But anyway, this is definitely a really nice piece. I've definitely tried this watch on myself when it first came out, and I kind of really liked it. The only thing I don't like about it is the 12 o'clock Roman numerals. I think they're too big. And that's what I didn't like on the CALIBRE Cartier also. If they could just make those Roman numerals a little smaller, I think I'd like the watch. It's a pretty well constructed watch. And that's definitely going to be my third pick. Now, my fourth pick is the CHOPARD Pro 1 Diver, or the LUC Pro 1 Diver. Now, this is a 42mm dive watch. It was first launched in the summer of 2004. And we're talking about the reference 8912. Now, this watch has about 300 meters of water resistance, so pretty good so far. A screw-down crown, of course. We have a unidirectional rotating bezel, and that is engravings on the bezel. For all of the numbers on the bezel, those are engraved. It is using a caliber LUC 4.96 movement by Chopard. And something cool about this watch, it has actually has serially operating spring barrels with a 65-hour power reserve. That's something to be proud of. Of course, the bezel does rotate unidirectional. We do have a sapphire crystal, applied indexes, date at the 4 o'clock, nice and tucked away. If you're diving, you definitely don't really need the date, unless you've been down there for a really long time. And yeah, but definitely a great pick. And these can be had for a pretty good price on the pre-owned market. When they actually, some information, when they originally retailed in 2005, they were $6,800 from a retail boutique. And I believe the price has gone up a little bit since then, but you can find them on the pre-owned market. You can find a 2013 or 14 model for a pretty good price at about $4,000. And this definitely is a nice piece of work by Chopard. That's going to be my fourth pick, and I think this was a pretty good pick. The bezel kind of reminds me of the Yachtmaster in a way. Now my last and final pick at number 5 is the ORIS AQUIS Date. Now ORIS, some people may not know, or they may know, they've been around since 1904. And this all started when Paul Caton and Georges Christin established a watch factory in Alstein, Switzerland. And everything was kind of going pretty good. They were manufacturing their own movements. And then the quartz crisis came, and they kind of shut down a lot of their boutiques, and things kind of went downhill. But they have picked themselves back up. Anyway, we're focusing on the ORIS AQUIS. It's basically a 43mm complete brushed case, kind of chunky at different angles if you look at it. Of course, we have a screw-down crown, huge crown guards that protrude from the case. We have a 300-meter water resistance, and one of the reasons why I picked the gray version is because it kind of looks like the Yachtmaster bezel with the platinum, if you get what I'm saying. Anyway, this watch is using a Sellita SW200-1 movement, which is essentially a clone of an ETA 2824-2 movement. But in my opinion, it's just as reliable as the ETA movement. And it does have 26 joules and up to a 38-hour power reserve. Now, one cool thing about the ORIS AQUIS is it's only $1,800 brand new, full retail, on the rubber strap, which is a pretty high-end rubber strap with a nice little clasp on there that you can adjust also. And yeah, nothing really bad to say about the ORIS AQUIS. At its price point, you can't really beat it, and they make some really incredible bracelets also. The bracelet version, I believe, is a couple $100 more, but the bracelets are pretty luxurious for a price point of $1,800. And of course, you have that famous see-through case back with the red rotor. Red rotor, red rotor. Okay guys, that's going to be it for today. I hope you enjoyed the video and found some of this information useful. If you can, definitely hit the like button if you liked the video, share it with your friends, and subscribe to the channel. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Bye.